For today's history video, I want to talk about something that's eerily similar to Obama, but I want to talk about how close the United States came to having a communist president. I mean, a genuine card-carrying member of the Communist Party. In 1930s, Henry Wallace was the Secretary of Agriculture in the New Deal cabinet. His father actually had been Secretary of Agriculture under the Republicans, and he was in the New Deal cabinet, and he was very good at farm policy and price supports and that sort of thing. But he was very popular in rural America. So in 1940, after James Nance Garner, Roosevelt's vice president for 2 terms, broke with Roosevelt over the court-packing plan and over his running for a 3rd term, Roosevelt had to find himself a new vice president, and he tapped Henry Wallace. Now, Roosevelt died in April of 1945. He took the oath of office for his 2nd term in March of 1945, 30 days or so before he died. And that meant that Wallace was out as vice president and Harry Truman was in. But if Roosevelt had died a year earlier, which was very possible, he was getting sick and deteriorating rapidly, then Henry Wallace would have succeeded and been president of the United States, and possibly would have been reelected because he was the incumbent president. Well, in 1948, as the Cold War developed and began to become more and more important, and Stalin's outrageous policy of seizing as much of Eastern Europe as he could became evident to the American people that this was no more Uncle Joe, the wartime ally, but a vicious totalitarian dictator. Henry Wallace increasingly criticized the Truman administration for standing up to Russia. He said that we caused the Cold War because we exacerbated Soviet distrust of us, and that we were forcing Russia to defend itself because of our aggressive intentions. This, of course, was during a time when the U.S. had the atomic bomb and nobody else did. I mean, we could very simply have told them, if you don't get out of Eastern Europe in the next 5 minutes, we're going to bomb Moscow and level it, and then Leningrad, and then we'll keep going. We could have done that. There was no possibility of retaliation. Nobody else had the bomb, but we didn't do that. But nevertheless, Henry Wallace was criticizing it, and then when Truman ran for re-election, Wallace ran against him, setting up his own political party, the Progressive Party, and it was evident that he was just a front for the Communist Party. He took an increasingly pro-Stalin line, an anti-American line, and this guy was an out-and-out communist. So Roosevelt, fortunately, did 2 things right. One is he lived long enough to not have Wallace as vice president, and the other is that he dumped Wallace in 1944 because he saw what a crazy, loony leftist he was, and put Harry Truman on the ticket, who, of course, was a moderate, a centrist, and did a very distinguished job as president. But oh man, how close we came to having a communist in the White House. Now, Obama may be hitting below the belt, but Dubs doesn't. My dog, who's running for president in our new children's book, Dubs Runs for President, is a very clean campaigner. He wouldn't do any of that kind of stuff. But he is a competitor. He's running as the nominee of the Canine Party, opposing Felix the Cat on the Feline Party. So Dubs faced Felix in the general election. One would win, the other faced rejection. They each worked hard to get every last vote, campaigning by car, air, train, and boat. And you see here the debate between Felix and Dubs. And then Dubs was out every day, sun or rain, traveling around our country in his own private train. And every time that train came to a stop, Dubs gave a speech and came out on top. So the purpose of this book is to entertain, but also so your kids and your grandkids can follow the political process and understand what's going on, as seen through the eyes of Dubs, my lovely dog. Thank you.